Thank you, cat. Kevin likes to eat cat shit out of the litter box, by the way.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
That's called Grandpa's Treats.
It's called Almond Roca.
Text me back. Text me back.
Text me back. Text me back at once. Welcome to Text Me Back, a parasocial journey into the minds of two brilliant and unhinged 40-something-year-old women. I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays.
And I'm Dr. Lindy West. On today's show, we're going to hear about the trials and tribulations of Meagan's swamp job. We have some fun announcements to read from God's board. But first, I have breaking news. Breaking.
Over the wire.
Yep. Meagan. So, I'll get to the breaking news. That's very important. But I haven't been very interested in flat Earth, I have to say. They haven't convinced me, you know?
Not one of our top conspiracies. Yeah.
It just seems not true, you know?
It seems disproven. You know?
Yeah, and like I feel like I watched a documentary about it and all their proof is like, oh, like if you shoot a bullet on a globe, the bullet will fly into space or something. Like it's all like boring kind of science experiments, and then the science experiments don't work. Like they're like, if the Earth is round, we shouldn't be able to shine a light from here to the other side of this lake. And then they try it, and then indeed they can't shine a light. And then they're like, wait, but still that's not what we wanted to happen. I think something's wrong. Something's wrong with the experiment.
The thing I don't like about this conspiracy is like, to what end? Like, what do you get out of it? Like, why are you contesting this information? Like, oh, big sphere, we're gonna bring them to their knees. Like, who is profiting off the concept of the Earth being round, even though it's not? Like, you know,
the globe industry, like,
Randall Mifflin,
Rand McNally,
Big McNally,
Rand Illuminally, Illuminality. Okay, so it hasn't like captured my imagination, I think, is a big part of the problem. And like, you know, their other thing they love to talk about is that like when you go on an airplane, all the windows are like video screens, I think, and it's like shows you like it's
right.
like it's a big sort of a David Blaine prank.
You do end up in a wholly different city, but that's part of it.
That's part of it.
That's part of the illusion.
Guys, the infrastructure. Have you ever tried to get even like two best friends to keep one secret for one day?
I feel like, I mean, as somebody who has worked for the government, something I used to think about a lot, like probably every day, was there's no way these chuckleheads could pull off a conspiracy of any kind. Any kind. Let alone the Earth is secretly flat.
Right. Precisely, Meagan.
Not happening.
However, I've been resistant, but I think it's possible that they finally got me. They've expanded the lore into some stuff that I like. They found the Lindy bait, and I came across this video in my Instagram reels, and I gotta say, I like what I'm hearing. I'm intrigued. So basically, the new expanded lore is that so the Earth is a disk. Antarctica is an ice wall that surrounds all of the continent. So that's why any direction you go, there's an ice wall. You get to ice.
Right.
So it's because there's an ice wall. New lore that I just learned, outside of the ice wall, there are other magical, mystical mystery continents full of creatures. So I'm like, okay, now I can get into this.
It sounds like somebody is imagining dragons.
I don't have to imagine them anymore. It's been confirmed that they live outside the ice wall. So the breaking news, according to this this Instagram reel that I watched, is that a second guy has crossed the ice wall via the Leviathan's Gate. And he talked to this 28-year-old podcaster flat earth podcaster, and small flat world, turns out he knows the other guy that crossed the ice wall to
what
go
a
talk
coincidence.
to go talk to this 28-year-old podcaster. They're both from the continent of Pitacia.
Wait, these two men are both from the continent of Pitacia?
Well, okay, it's unclear. They might be. Oh, you're right. No, they're not from the continent of Pitacia, and there's a very important reason why I know that. But I kind of think I might just play you the audio of this Instagram reel.
Really quickly before you do that, is it just spelled like potato? But
no, it's Pitatia. So like PETA,
okay.
like PETA Pit.
Okay.
But
a great place.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm watching this, and let me just one more thing. It's like I'm watching this and I'm like, ooh, I like this. The continent of Pitacia outside the ice wall. Then this 28-year-old podcaster zooms out a little bit more. Second ice wall, second ring of mysterious crypto continents. So
wow.
And he's like, there. Well, you gotta hear this. This is unbelievable. Okay. It's gonna change your life. Okay, ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, ready?
I've recently come into contact with another person who says that they've been beyond the ice wall to the continent of Pitacia, and that they know the guy that I was speaking to last August who also said he's been beyond the ice wall. Now, this new guy said that he went through the Leviathan's Gate through a submarine and visited this continent, which had a race of humanoid dog-headed beings. Now, we already have heard about these dog-headed humanoids from European legend. They were said to have been an aberration and were a hybrid of humans and dog, and were said to have been constantly at war with the Roman Empire. There was even one named Saint Christopher, whom only according to legend was redeemed by Jesus Christ, but this is getting off topic. Now here's the weird part. I sent this long document that has all the saved messages from this other guy I spoke to in August. I sent it to this new guy, and then he was amazed. He was like, wow, this sounds like someone that I knew before, that I haven't been in contact with since before 2020. Now let's get back to talking about what this new guy told me. Now, he said that there are dragons and krakens like we have heard before, and that he only went to a few mostly abandoned cities that only had a few people in it. But he said he is not going back because it is too dangerous, and he saw one of his crewmates die to a disease that nobody knew what it was.
I don't know where to start. The fact that he just keeps calling them the other guy, and this guy, and that guy, the other guy, and this other guy, it's so good. It's so good. It's so scientific. That's what I love about it.
And I realized, of course, both guys must be Earthmen, because if they were from the continent of Pitacia, they would have dog heads.
The fact that the humanoid doghead hybrids were constantly at war with the Roman Empire.
I know. Like, I'm so sorry. I do believe in this. Yeah. But I also feel like if you're constantly at war with the Roman Empire, probably like some of you get killed.
Yeah.
And then we would find your bones.
We would find your human doghead hybrid fossil.
Can we get the time team out there to find some of these Pitacian bones?
Pardon me, National Geographic. Well, Lindy, don't you think that the reason is because this shit goes all the way to the top? They absolutely found those human dog hybrid bones from the Roman Empire days, and the Smithsonian suppressed it.
That's true. They're all in the basement of the Vatican. Or
Hell
maybe what happened was all the guys that got turned into bones, then the other Pitacians were like, bones? Yum yum yum.
Yum 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 yum. That's why there's no fossils.
That's why there's no fossils. It makes sense. You gotta admit it makes sense. So, like,
I would say that this conspiracy goes all the way to the top and then back down to the bottom. You know what I mean?
There's no such thing as top and bottom, Megan. Only right and left.
Right and left, east and west. But never up and down.
No, absolutely not.
Never.
But like, so when he zooms this map out, let me just tell you about some of these continents. So like, we're all in the middle. I'll repost this on the Text Me Back Instagram. So Patatia, the continent of constructs, it says. Then there's a little island called Ketumati, Paititi. Oh, then he's showing a dog head. Hang on.
Hang on. This is important. Oh my God, Jesus.
This is proof, Megan.
Yeah. Yeah,
we know this.
That's proof. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are they suggesting that the additional worlds beyond the wall are proof that the Earth is flat? Like, I don't see why that would be the case.
It's true. It could still be a globe.
Yeah. And also, does that mean they don't think that there is space? Like, there's no universe outside of Earth? Like, that land just goes on forever?
No, I think that they think it's a disc spinning through space like a frisbee.
The dog heads love it. Fribby!
Okay, but the dog heads also love a ball.
They do. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so here's some of the other continents. There's New Torred, Atlantis. There's something called La La Land. Charybdis.
Okay, Ryan Gosling, hello.
Yeah, Expedia, Aten, the Xenonesia, Anubis, Doveland, Umurangi, Greater Lemuria. Oh, I just got served a video about Lemuria yesterday. That's a whole other thing that is a theoretical continent that was
breaking news for another time.
But I'm pretty convinced. Yeah, basically, like, if you want me to believe in your cult, like, make it cute, make it exciting. I want some krakens, and I want abandoned cities, and I want mysterious travelers coming through the ice wall.
Once again, you want to imagine dragons. And is that so difficult? Is that too much to ask? It just doesn't seem like it should be so hard.
It seems like unfair that I get laughed at for imagining dragons, but Imagine Dragons gets $1 million.
And a Grammy. And they don't even imagine dragons, really.
They don't. I bet they never do.
I bet they've never thought of a dragon a single time.
I think about them all the time.
Well, wow, this is explosive. And I assume that all of the mainstream media outlets will be covering it forthwith.
Megan, you know they won't.
They're going to suppress it.
They're going to suppress it.
You know who runs NBC News? Fido. Fido Pataciarini. He's Italian. He's Italian and hybrid human doghead. So, wow. Well, thanks.
Yeah, that's what I believe now. Just so you know. And I will be renting a submarine and making an excursion to the Leviathan's Gate.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And I think it was just, I'm hoping that the guy, the second guy who passed through and then came back, and he said he saw some abandoned cities with only a few people living there. I'm hoping that's just a small sample size. Like, I'm hoping that there are thriving civilizations, because I would like to visit,
Yeah.
And the fact that he saw his crewmate die of a disease that nobody had ever heard of, that happens on Earth.
Yeah, that happens here all the time.
That's not enough to deter me.
Right. Also, don't we think there's like a 100% overlap between anti-vaxxers and flat Earth people?
True.
Is it really that mysterious? What illness?
Was it COVID? You haven't seen him since 2020?
Was it just like the regular flu? Keep me posted.
Oh, see, this could be an unstoppable movement if you could manage to take the anti-vaxxing out of the flat Earth. And then those of us with robust immune systems take a trip beyond the ice wall.
It would be paradise, man.
We're armed with frisbees and balls to distract the Fedosians. Lassie Rigatoni. Queen of Petusia. Okay.
Okay, now I want to go.
I want to go so bad. And what if we Okay, I have some big ideas.
Okay.
So if you want to finance my trip across the ice wall,
New Patreon tier just dropped.
that's the $1 billion a month tier. I'll be
We're
the first.
calling it Discworld, I guess.
Okay, so that's that. I'm a flat earther now.
Great, congrats. Well, Lindy, thank you for that. I don't have any breaking news, but coming up, I'm going to tell you all about what's been going on in the swamp. And it's more than just mosquito bites.
Is it frogs?
Yes.
Welcome back to Text Me Back, a podcast that combines humans and dogs. Bodies of humans and the heads of dogs.
My life has the head of a dog and the body of a human. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I think the dog head is the podcast and the human body is working in Washington, D.C. You know?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And for me, I have the mind of a supermodel and the body of a regular person.
That's hot.
We're checking in with Meagan's swamp life in a new segment we're calling Oops, I Crap My Real Job.
It's like real job crapped my podcast career.
But yeah, we're going to talk today about what's going on in your shadow life.
Yeah, my
The,
shadow life.
The other Meagan, because we used to talk about it more, I feel like.
Yes, that was like one of the original conceits of the show, was that I was like, I'm a swamp person. Actually, I feel like our show description is like, Meagan's a democracy expert.
Yeah.
And we've talked about democracy once.
Well, no, we've talked about the Supreme Court quite a bit.
That's true.
But only for comedy, really. So we thought it was time to do a check-in, because you've been having some exciting times, you know, swimming around in the bowels of the U.S. government.
Well, yeah, listen, I have to have another job in addition to podcasts. So I've been doing a little consulting over the last few months. I've been cruising around, talking to members of Congress, talking to other partners about the Supreme Court, you know, strategizing, finding synergy. Do you know what I mean?
You're a consultant.
I'm a consultant
for
an org. And I consult, I tell them my opinions. And, you know, they listen to me or they don't. It's fine.
Yeah.
So lately, there's yet another ethics scandal engulfing the Supreme Court. You know, it's a day of the week. So there's an ethics scandal engulfing the Supreme Court. This time it's that someone flew an upside down American flag outside of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito's home, which is a fascist symbol supporting the Stop the Steal movement, which, if you have blessedly memory hold, is the name of the movement that claims that Donald Trump actually won the 2020 election. And I think about 50% of them have probably taken a submarine to through the Leviathan Gate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's not great. It's not great for anyone to be a member of the Stop the Steal movement based on an insane lie that our government is capable of all people handing the presidency to Joe Biden, even though he lost the election in 2020. It's not real. That did not happen. And then those same people were the ones who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. This happened like 3 years ago, but we're just finding out about it now. And while that flag was flying above Samuel Alito's house, he was a Supreme Court justice trying to decide whether or not the court should take up cases related to January 6th activity and Trump's complicity in that event.
Like, Meagan, I can't even get on a jury.
I didn't get on a jury for January 6th. Somehow the New York Times discovers that this flag was flying outside of Alito's house. And it was flying out there for days. Now, even if somehow, some way, you don't know that an upside down American flag is associated with the Stop the Steal movement, conservatives are so psycho about the flag, there's no way it was an accident. You know what I mean? There's no way a rank and file conservative, like a normal ish conservative would fly an upside down American flag, so it has to have meant something.
They think you should go to jail for flying an upside down American flag.
Yeah, like Colin Kaepernick still doesn't have a job because he kneeled in front of a flag, which I guess they don't like either. And yet somehow we're supposed to believe that, like, oh, well, whoopsie poopsie, it was an upside down flag. So
Also, your best friend's wife planned this whole party.
So speaking of blaming your wife for stuff, that's what he did. So this comes out in the press that somebody flew an upside down flag outside of his house, and they're like, Justice Samuel Alito, your response? And he goes, my wife did it. Oh,
I don't know her.
I barely know her. So just a couple things here. One is, really? You gonna throw your wife under the bus on this one? For real? Because that's what happened basically with Ginny Thomas, which you were just alluding to, is that all of these text messages come out between her and Mark Meadows where she's basically like, when's the coup going down? Keep me posted. And at the time, everyone was like, whoa, you gotta separate the two. You can't hold Clarence Thomas accountable for his wife's actions. If the roles were reversed, that would be sexist. And I was like, yes, if this was a different situation, we would all feel differently about it. Thanks. But just setting that aside, are we not marrying people who share our values, or what? Like, what are we doing? Like,
the magnitude of the, like, fiction that we're supposed to accept as potentially true, when it's like they're doing it in front of our eyes. They're like, here's our plan. We're gonna groom young conservative judges to become Supreme Court justices to do our bidding. And then when that starts happening, we're all supposed to be like, well, maybe it's just his wife.
Yeah, maybe it was just his wife. Maybe it wasn't. So Alito does the same thing. He said, well, it was my wife who did it. And by the way, she only did it because our neighbors said a swear word to her and she was offended, and somebody put up a sign that was personally rude to us, and she was worried that kids would see it. So she raised a fascist symbol that means overthrow the government. Now, I think we've all been there. You know, somebody hurts your feelings and you say, that's it. No more American democracy.
Yes. One time, my neighbor said, can you not park your car so it's blocking my driveway? And so then I got a Confederate flag tattooed on my face.
Yeah. What else were you supposed to do? You know,
there's no other way to get that message across.
I can't think of any other way.
So that's what he said, and then people were like, okay.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, at no point in his initial statement did he say, I don't know what that symbol means. I disagree with the meaning of that symbol. If I had known, I would have taken it down. None of that. He just said, my wife did it because somebody swore at us. So
which swear word?
The F word.
Somebody said the F word?
Yeah, so one of our top swears, you know.
Can we find out who that was and give them an award?
Yeah, the bravest boy award.
The bravest boy award?
Yeah, we're going to have a gala and invite him and give him a fake award.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. Surely there's a way to, by the way, like, fact check this. Can someone go talk to the neighbor?
You would think that the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, would be curious just a little about what happened here. Who put up that flag? How long was it there? What did Samuel Alito know about it? What did his boss, Chief Justice John Roberts, know about it? How come we're just now finding out about this? What did the neighbors say? What do the neighbors know about this? And instead, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, has said, this is basically a direct quote. He said, there's no value in holding a hearing over this. I feel like I'm going insane. It's just like, there's no value in holding a hearing over whether or not a Supreme Court justice is in league with a fascist movement to overthrow the government. You don't have any questions about that? I have at least one question, which is, what the fuck?
Okay, Meagan, so what are you, Meagan, doing about it?
Great question. Thanks for bringing me back onto the rails. By the way, every time something like this happens, it ruins my week. It personally affects me. It's really annoying. It's like, this is a structural issue, but also, don't you care about me at all?
Yeah, we were supposed to record Text Me Back After Dark to talk about pee pee poo poo, and then you said Samuel Alito did something, and now
Yeah.
I have to go
Samuel
die.
Alito crapped his pants into an adult diaper, and now I have to go take care of that. So I had to do my little swamp job. And it was crazy because I hadn't done anything like that in a long time. Like at my old job, I would sometimes go on television. I would sometimes go on MSNBC and be like, the Supreme Court is an adult diaper filled with a gallon of iced tea, like that kind of thing. One of the things I had to go do was join a press conference with some members of Congress. They launched this new task force in the House called the Court Reform Now Task Force. So it's very exciting, actually, if I can just get like kind of earnest for 1 second. Because look, Democrats have the gavel in the Senate. They have the majority and they're not doing anything with it. I don't know why they don't want to do anything. I honestly can't figure it out. But on the House side, at least there are Democrats who want to do stuff. They don't have the majority, they don't have the gavel, which means they can't use like the power of the committees to subpoena people and hold like formal investigations, but they can still show that they acknowledge that this horrible shitty thing is happening and they want to do something about it. So this task force is going to try to do some outside the normal order of business, like hearings and roundtables and stuff, just to at least show that somebody somewhere is fighting on this issue, which is crazy that no one in the Senate wants to. But
arguably the most important issue of our time.
Yeah, not to hit y'all with the hyperbole, but just try to think of a single issue that you care about the most. Maybe that's abortion. Maybe that's workers' rights. Maybe it's breathing clean air and drinking clean water.
Investigating on the ice wall.
Investigating the Leviathan Gate. They don't like any of that shit. So even in a situation where we pass like a transformative democracy bill, or we restore Roe v. Wade, or we compel everyone to join a labor union, the Supreme Court's not letting us keep any of that stuff. So this should be really the central message, and it isn't. People just don't talk about it on the campaign trail, and they don't talk about it in Congress. So this task force is trying to change all that. I think it's a really great start, and all the members involved are really good allies on this issue. So they invited me to speak at this press conference. I couldn't help myself. I made a joke about the Drake and Kendrick beef, which went over really well. I got so sweaty. One of the worst things about going to a press conference is regardless of the venue, you become pig. So I did have to be a pig in front of like Hank Johnson and Adam Schiff and Jasmine Crockett and Madeline Dean. And I was like, please don't perceive me while I sweat through my blazer in front of you. It was very embarrassing. And then I went home, having solved all of our problems. I scooted home on my Vespa.
Let's roll that audio, Megan.
Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
At a time when a new Supreme Court scandal seemingly drops every week, as frequently as a Kendrick Lamar response. I don't know. It seems that way anyway.
And scene. So yeah, that's the Tales of the Swamp. It's been a very frustrating couple of weeks just to feel like you're just driving a car into a brick wall over and over again. And then Dick Durbin comes out and says, "Stop hurting my wall." It's so annoying. So I'm trying to consult.
Yeah.
My advice to Dick Durbin is the hell, bro.
Start Dick Durbin your job.
Why don't you start Dick Durbin in your job? That's what
Dick Durbin. Do your Durbin. Wait, weren't you also on TV?
Oh, yeah. So then I had to go on TV and kind of talk about the same stuff.
Great.
But, sometimes if it's like a more straight news channel or outlet, they will do a little bit of equivalency. I don't want to say false equivalence, but they try to equate two things that really aren't completely the same. They're like maybe in the same ballpark, but not really the same. So on the one hand, you have Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas engaging in like almost comical levels of corruption. They're like Scrooge McDuck filled their offices with gold coins. They're like diving into it from a huge diving board. And then on the other hand, Sonia Sotomayor maybe violated an ethical code when she had one of her clerks email about her book tour, which is technically an ethical violation. So yes, I went on TV and so basically one of the questions was like, well, What do you say to those who say that, the left only cares about the corruption because they don't like that Samuel Alito is conservative? And it was like,
I mean, it is a conservative court, and this is when we are hearing the most outcry over ethics and the conversation about it. I mean, is this an attack simply because it is a more conservative court?
No, no, definitely not.
these are not the same. Like emailing about a book tour and taking PJs to Alaska, drinking $8,000 bottles of wine. It's a little bit different.
We got to be able to move past the place
Yeah.
where we just discuss, well, isn't it the same though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can there ever be like some kind of progress in the discussion?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the reasons I probably shouldn't say this. I feel like we're playing with fire with my opinions on this podcast lately, but it's just like, I'm not a free speech absolutist. The quality of speech really does matter. These things are not the same. You can't just be like, well, anybody's allowed to say whatever they want. It's like, yeah, I guess technically, but of course there are more severe penalties if your speech is meaner or worse or incites, and the same is true for these like ethical things where it's like the response, the anger is different. Not because like, oh, we all love Sonia Sotomayor and we hate Alito, which it happens to be true for me. I do hate Samuel Alito a great deal, but it's because he's taking private jet flights to freaking Alaska, paid for by a guy who has a case pending in front of the Supreme Court. Like, it's fucking different. Anyway, so that's my swamp job. Are you sad because of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm glad that you're there.
Thanks.
In the swamp.
If you want to rescue me from the swamp, please subscribe to the Patreon. Immediately. So tired.
That's patreon.com/textmebackpod, right?
That's right.
Coming up, we're finally going to answer your sweet little advice questions. It's time for me and Megan to impart some wisdom.
I'm scared. I don't have any. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Lindy. You know what's interesting? Our friendship is so beautiful and so inspirational that people are constantly reaching out to us for advice. I'm not even joking. I feel like that happens a lot. Sometimes the advice people need is stressful and I don't know what to do with it. But we decided to lean in this week and you asked for advice questions.
Yep.
And we're going to do our best to answer your burning hot questions.
Yeah.
So Lindy.
I asked specifically, I said, don't ask us stressful stuff.
Yeah.
Ask us trivial stuff.
Please.
Because we did the
most ridiculous shit you can think of.
We solicited advice questions before, and then all of them were like a real like high stakes bummer,
Yeah, they were
I was
rough.
Like, I don't feel qualified to answer this. I don't know the answer. I'm scared to advise you wrong because like I don't want to mess up your life. So I was like, send us questions that don't matter, and you did.
Yeah, and you did, and that's what we love about you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Okay, Megan. Waking up hierarchy of sleepovers. Like, is it better to wake up first or wake up last?
Oh. Interesting.
I know. Okay, I have an opinion. I feel like I wake up last and I hate it. I would so much rather wake up first and have a little time to creep around, watch a little solo TV, get a donut before everyone else. You know what I mean? Like hang out with the mom.
I would hate to wake up last. I would have felt like I missed out on everything.
Yes.
But I also don't want to wake up first because nothing's happening yet. So I want to wake up third.
Ooh.
Out of like 5. Let's say you have a sleepover of 5 people. That way you can at least be like making memories together.
Yeah,
you don't really miss that much, but you're not last. You haven't like missed all the fun, And like it's like somebody has like warmed up the crowd by the time you're awake.
Yeah, I'm a last waker upper because I'm so sleepy, and I'm a good sleeper, especially like now as an adult. If it's a sleepover where you have your friends come stay with you or whatever, so you're in separate rooms, I will never be up first. It's if no one's waking me up, I'm Great.
No, you wouldn't be up first. I can attest.
but I hate that because I do have really bad debilitating FOMO, and
Yeah.
beyond that, I always feel like probably everybody was making fun of me.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I can confirm that too.
And I
Yeah.
also am kind of I don't know if you would call it an introvert, but like I like to have some alone time. So this is why I dream of being a first waker upper. Because it's like I can get a little bit overstimulated at the slumber party. I would love a little quiet time alone
Yeah.
in the empty living room before everyone else gets up.
But not missing anything.
But not
It's like
missing
a perfect
anything.
combo. Yeah,
Mhm.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
So maybe someday. But that's my opinion. I like that we have different answers.
When I was staying with you and we had our adult sleepover, I texted you from upstairs to be like, "Are you awake?"
Mm-hmm. No,
but
no
I was
response.
up first. No response. Yeah. I did wake up first, and then I went down. I think hung out with your mom for a little while. So
yeah,
I was living your
cute.
dream.
That's pretty cute. Okay, I love that. I don't really understand this question. I can't tell if it's related to a meme or an urban legend or I don't know, but I like it. It says dill pickles in Dr. Pepper? Yes or no?
No.
So I don't know if there's like I don't know if this means like there's a conspiracy theory that Dr. Pepper has dill pickle in it, flavoring in it. Because people are always like, what's the secret of Dr. Pepper? It's prune juice that makes you poo-poo. Or is like, are they asking, is that a good combo and you should dip your dill pickles in Dr. Pepper? Like maybe there was a meme where someone was like, this is good. I don't know. But I think you do you. I am open to the mysteries of the universe, as I've stated, and I say go for it. And I say, sure, let's just assume that it's in there. I love that. Anything you want to imagine is in your Dr. Pepper.
Imagine pickles.
Dragons. Let's just say it's all in there. As a doctor,
as a fellow doctor.
Confirm. There's dill pickles in there. There's dragons in there. There's prune juice in there.
I mean, that's revolting. Like objectively, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was a rage bait viral thing on TikTok or something where they're like, doing the viral Dr. Pepper dill pickle shooter challenge down the hatch, broskies, or whatever it was. That shit's nasty.
Okay,
It's also like, again, something I'm working on for 2024 is I'm happy for you. That's what you want to do with your life. Knock yourself out.
Anyone with a basic knowledge of physics, like me, a doctor,
sure.
I don't even understand if it is a rage bait internet challenge. Pick something thicker.
Yeah.
Like all you're gonna get is a hint of the liquid's gonna slide right off. So you're gonna get the flavor of the pickle is very strong. Oh, maybe they re-pickle it in the Dr. Pepper and like marinate it. I think it could be good, like a sweet pickle.
Are they chopping it up? Are they like mincing the pickle?
We'll never know. I don't know. Maybe this person's getting right back. Okay.
I think that sounds disgusting. And I don't even really like pickles at all, let alone dunked in Dr. Pepper. So just one woman's take.
Okay. This person asks, how do I floss consistently?
Thank you for coming to me with this. I have cavities. I want to just announce that to everyone right now. And I have the type of cavities that come from my teeth touching. So I get them in my molars where my molars touch. And the reason that I get them is because I never fucking floss, dude. I never do it. I hate flossing. I hate you pull out the whole thing, you have the string, and then you have to go all back there, and then your mouth's all hanging off, your hands all hanging off your mouth. It's so annoying. But cavity fillings, this I hate more.
Yeah.
It's like they're drilling your brain when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to become a flosser. And here's how you do it. Or here's what worked for me as a person who really doesn't like the whole vibe of flossing. One is the stuff that you get out of your teeth is so foul that like that should tell you that your mouth is not getting clean if you're not flossing.
Yeah.
Okay. And follow it with a little mouthwash. That helps a lot. Follow it with a little Listerine, pal. And here's what you got to do. And I'm really sorry. I want to say I'm really sorry to the earth for what I'm about to say. You got to get the little flossers, the little handheld flossers. I'm so sorry, but they're superior.
Let me blow your mind, Megan. You know what I found?
What'd you find?
There's little like bamboo wooden ones.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Game
'Cause
changer.
I know. Absolute game changer.
'Cause
Probably
am I
a little
right?
more expensive. Oh,
You gotta have the flossers, you know?
they increased my flossing consistency by 8 billion%.
Yeah, correct.
Another thing that I got proficient in when I had my braces is the water pick, which is
Ooh.
really fun. It's like
Maybe
a
I'll get one of
little power
those.
washer that
Mm.
you get all in there. It
Hell yeah.
rocks.
Hell yeah, I gotta get one of those. I think they might have them at Costco, actually.
I think
That'll
they
be my
do.
next I can fix
I
her.
think they do.
Oh, by the way, here's the ailment I'm suffering from currently. The last cavity I got filled. By the way, last time I went to the dentist, clear of cavities. You want to know why? Because this bitch be flossing. That's why.
Good
That's why.
job.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
And also, I just want to state for the record, I never had a cavity my entire life until I turned like 32. So
Yeah.
something does happen, I think, as you get older, your teeth are less resilient. So you really do need to step up your flossing and brushing, your oral hygiene game as you age.
Yeah.
But here's the ailment I am suffering from. Like a long time ago, or like probably 4 years ago at this point, I got a cavity filled in my back molar, and they didn't do it quite right. So now it's a food trap. So
Oh jeez.
every time I eat, I get food stuck in it. So I have to carry flossers with me everywhere so I can get it out right away. And so I went to the dentist. I didn't go back right away because I thought, oh, maybe it's just like a new filling. It'll just go away on its own. I don't know why I thought that. It didn't. So I went back to the dentist finally, like 2 years later. And I was like, can you fix this? And they're like, oh, yeah. I was like, is there something you can do? Is there a way to fix it? And they're like, oh, yeah, we just have to redo the filling. And I was like, no, I'll just carry a flosser. The drilling.
For
is so
me, it's
stressful.
not even the drilling is really stressful, but for me, you know when you get a filling on the lower jaw and then the needle has to go through your muscle and then your tongue goes pop pop pop? Do you have that where it's like pop rocks inside your tongue because it's some kind of a nerve thing?
Actually,
I
no.
can't. Oh, it happens to me every time. I don't know. It's really weird. It's like my tongue, when they go through the muscle, my tongue goes like a little electric shock.
Oof, I don't like that.
I don't like it either at all.
For me, I just am living in constant fear that the numbing shot is going to fail at any moment.
Well, you know, that happened to me. And then I had an evil dentist and he called me hysterical. I'm sobbing and having a panic attack because he's drilling my tooth and it's not numb. And then he was like, calm down.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I never went back. And later, Aham and I saw him downtown. We were like at a stoplight right by like Westlake Center. And then there was like a guy crossing the street who was like ranting and raving and talking to himself and like having a hard time. And then we were like, is that our dentist?
Oh my God.
And it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I will say nothing further, but wowzer.
All right. Next question. How do I reappear when I've ghosted my friends because of ADHD overwhelm paralysis?
You don't. I'm sorry. You did bad.
No, this is a signature move of mine. You just got to be like, oh boy, I'm bad. Oops.
Yeah, you do. You gotta get your sword, prop it up, and then fall upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
And people, I feel like, are very kind. And sometimes people will be like, hey, man, you gotta text me back sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
they might have a big boy convo with you, and you should receive the information.
Yes,
I do that from time to time, but I also feel like I try to communicate it while it's happening. I think one of the great things about therapy is that it's helped me recognize when I'm slipping into a depressive episode. So I try to be communicative with my friends and be like, hey, it's nothing personal. I'm really having a hard time leaving my house. I'm really sorry. And that goes a long way. You don't have to like overshare. You don't even have to say that, but just to be like, hey, I'm just going through something. I don't need any support or anything, but I just like need some space or some time to myself. It really is okay. People will understand. Yeah. But if you do have a little ADHD ghosting problem, just what Lindy just said is exactly right. You have to be like, hey, I fucked up and I just was in my own brain being a bad friend. Can we get together? But you have to acknowledge you were being a bad friend.
Yeah. Like I get very overwhelmed and I cannot. Mm-hmm. It's never that I don't want to talk to the person. It's always just like, oh, I want to write a really thoughtful response to this.
Yep.
Or it's just like, or it's just like I'm on autopilot and I'm not here and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. I read the text. What else is I don't know. Like
Yeah.
and
You're
then
just
yeah,
floating around.
I
Yeah.
just try to always be
Yeah.
really candid and like it doesn't you don't give anything up to apologize.
Yeah.
And like, we do have to be accountable for our behavior, even if it is induced by mental illness. You can do both of those things. You can be
Yeah.
like, this is coming from a place of brain soup.
Yep.
And I did it, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
This is brainostroni.
Yeah. We got some brainostroni soup
Yeah, a
going
little
on.
brainostroni. Sometimes for me, it's like, I get overwhelmed with like logistics where it's like, I don't know how to tackle this. I don't even know what to do first. And
Yeah.
so then I do nothing. And so sometimes that happens in my friendships where I'm like, and you just get like decision paralysis almost about what you should do next. Honestly, so if the person who wrote in has that problem, here's what I always need. I just need someone to tell me what is the first step. So I will tell you the first step. Text your friends and be like, can we get together? I'm sorry, I've been a bad friend. There you go.
Great. You did it. They'll be so excited. Honestly.
And they'll be like, oh, Brainostroni texted us, you guys.
Yay, we did it. Okay, here's a really good question.
Okay.
What color notebook should I get?
Oh my God.
Pink, in my opinion. Baby pink.
Yeah, well, as you know, I've been super into the millennial pink,
Yeah.
the little baby pink. I'm really into that these days. You know what I've been kind of into vis-a-vis notebooks is sort of that old school like composition book style, that old school like marbling almost. I love like the little vintage
fun.
style of that. I think that like trapper keepers are kind of coming back a little bit. That could be fun.
Yeah.
A little jaunt down memory lane.
Also, a thing I like to do is get something kind of plain and cover it with stickers.
That's fun.
That's fun. It's a funtivity.
It's a funtivity.
Okay, let's do 2 more. What do I wear to a space-themed wedding?
What would you wear to a space-themed wedding? I mean, you could get real Mrs. Frizzle with it, but...
Yeah. I would probably go full astronaut suit.
Full Neil Armstrong.
Yeah. The gold visor all the way down. Then you don't even have to go. You could just hire Matthew McConaughey to go instead.
Yes.
I just feel like that's the kind of movie he always would be in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was in Interstellar.
No, I mean like a
you mean a rom-com where... Oh, I thought you picked him because he played an astronaut in that movie, and I was like, sure.
No,
okay.
He's always like, oh, I hired this escort to be my wedding surrogate.
No, that was a classic. Text me back, mix them up. I don't know, this is stumping me a little bit. I just feel like there's so much room for hyper literalism, but it might be funny to just like go as like Jabba the Hutt or something like that,
good.
you know? Like, or like pigs in space. That could be fun. You could go as a pig as an astronaut. That could be nice.
That's funny. Here's a tip. It's really easy to pretend to speak the language that Jabba the Hutt speaks. You can impress anyone. All you do is you go, Ooga blee blah Han Solo, Jabba booba, baga daga, ha 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 ha. Like, it's so easy. And so you could do that for the whole wedding.
Yeah. So sounds like we solved it for you.
Sounds like we solved it. Or hybrid. Get Matthew McConaughey, teach him Hutt-ese, put him in the spacesuit, visor down, tell him to introduce himself as you.
Yeah.
You're at home. You ordered a wedding cake just for one.
Hell yeah.
You're eating the
chomp,
cake.
chomp, 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 chomp.
All right?
Yep,
One
problem
more question.
solved.
Let's do one last question. I need help naming the male gray catbird and cardinal that have both claimed my yard as sex territory.
Oh, great. Okay. I have one.
Okay.
Because in that period in between discovering the existence of Kevin and actually getting Kevin, I had given some thought to if I were to go get Kevin, would I change his name?
Great.
And the only thing I could think of that I thought was even as good was Anthony Cosby -Knowles, which is the name of the guy. He had this viral moment with Beyonce where she goes up to him and he's like in the front row and she could see throughout the entire show that he was having the time of his life. And she goes up to him and she says, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Anthony Cosby Knowles."
That is such a good name.
Yeah, and then she goes, Are you my cousin?" And he goes, "I'm your husband." And then he makes this incredible face. The face is what takes this to the next level and why this has been such an enduring meme. And then he goes, "I took your name." And then Beyonce goes, "What's my name?" And she hands the microphone to Anthony. He goes, "Say my name, say my name." So I was thinking about changing Kevin's name to Anthony Cosby Knowles and calling him Tony.
Wow.
So
that's
you can
really
have that.
good.
You
So
can
is
have that
that
if you want.
is that for the cardinal or the gray catbird?
I think the gray catbird.
Yeah, I think so
Don't you
too.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for the cardinal, red, fire, flames, Guy Fieri. Fieri, excuse me.
Nailed it.
The two kings of Flavortown. Anthony Cosby Knowles and Guy Fieri.
We've done it again.
We've done it again, Megan.
Well, thanks for sending in your questions. I think we've solved all your problems. So
yeah. Congratulations on not having any more problems.
Honestly, and cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
Unless you subscribe to our Patreon at the therapy level, which is $215 per session. So.
This was really fun, and I think silly advice should be a segment.
I think so too. If you have low stakes petty advice needs, please email us at deartextmeback@gmail.com, or you can text us or leave us a message at the Best Friend Party phone, which is, once again, I almost gave out my home number, 703-829-0003.
That's pod. Tax? Oof. The O's are zeros.
The O's are zeros. Thanks, besties.
Love ya. TTYNW. Well, TTY that was next week, but we'll actually TTY in a second because we're going to be right back with God's Board. Well, Megan, we done it again.
I like how every single final segment starts with, well.
What other way is there to start?
There's not another way.
Before we close out, time for a quick God's Board.
God's Board.
Which is what we call announcements. Today on God's Board, I want to acknowledge that we have some little ads.
Some advertisements. You may have heard them on this episode. In fact, I don't know. Definitely on last week's and maybe even the week before.
Yes.
So this is very exciting.
I'm being told that people are being served ads for things such as LinkedIn.
It's very exciting. And by the way, people have been so nice about it. I have never heard of this happening where people started hearing ads and instead of being like kind of annoyed, people started messaging us being like, "Congrats! Congratulations on your ads." So you all have been really sweet about it and really appreciate that you're like rooting for us to have ads on our show.
We got
so
multiple emails that were like, good job, you guys. I heard an ad. I'm so happy for you. I know. Yeah. It was so sweet.
I think what we want to say about it is this. So basically the way these ads work, there may be in the future host-read ads where like Lindy and I will be like, buy the famous sheets you may have heard of or whatever. The thing might be dog treats for Kevin, trademark, that sort of thing. For now, the kind of ads that we have, I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but basically these ads operate the way that like online ads work, where we're not vetting every single ad that you hear on the show, but we have told the person that we're working with, this co-pilot collective that we've been working with, that there are certain types of ads we never want on the show. And so we can confirm you will not be hearing diet ads or skinny teas or weird supplements and things
weapons
like that. Please, no guns on the podcast. Knives?
Yes.
Case by case basis. Yeah. So we do have some like general parameters, but you might hear an ad and think, oh, wow, fuck you, Meagan and Lindy. I hate that thing. And you can let us know that. It's good to know if like there are things that
Yeah.
are unethical. If there are brands that are unethical that you hear on the show, please do let us know. But just so you know, we're not greenlighting every single ad in advance. It's kind of like Google ads. They just sort of pop up. So
It like
just wanted to let you know.
auto-populates. We haven't figured out how to do this yet, but down the line,
Yes.
you'll be able to subscribe via Patreon and get it ad-free.
Yes. At the $8 and above level, at some point you will have an ad-free version. Please give our brainostrones a minute to figure out how to do that.
We know there's a way.
We know, I do know that there's
And
a way.
That's the first step to doing it. But
Is knowing.
yeah. But I also want to say that as we're transitioning into this new phase where maybe we have a little ad revenue, we've been able to hire co-pilot Allie and Michaela to help us. Allie's been editing and mixing. Michaela's been working on the ads. I want to acknowledge that going independent was not actually just a Meagan and Lindy operation, and that we had so much help from wonderful angels such as Jeannie Yandel.
Jeannie was our senior producer at KUOW, and even after we left KUOW was super helpful in helping us figure stuff out and like
giving like editing lessons. And Jeannie helped us figure out how to even like, do any of you know how you make a podcast go on to the Apple Podcasts? I didn't.
I know now because of Jeannie.
Yes. So bless Jeannie. My dear sweet husband, Ahamefule J. Oluo, who composed all the music for the show, did the mixing on our first, like, I don't know, six or seven or 8 independent episodes. And
it was
like,
really nice of him. So nice of him.
And he was like, I don't know how you guys record this, but it took a little bit of time to erase all of the echoing.
How come you guys are screeching in a cave into 2 tin cans? What's that about?
Because we used to have...
You would never know that listening to the episodes because he did such a good job mixing them.
We used to have Jeannie and our other angel, Brandy Fullwood, who would say, hey, your mic sounds bad.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So
who's the producer of this show?
Ahamefule made our first independent episode sound so beautiful, and I think spent approximately 4 to 6 hours on each one. On top of all of his regular real jobs. And like it just wouldn't have sounded like a professional transition without multiple times dropping everything to mix the episode.
Remember at first we both were like, do you need to mix it? I feel like you can't even tell.
I know. I think like
you can.
You can. Yeah, you can. You can. Which we found out also because he was out of town on vacation when we did the live episode with Guy, and then Lindy West, had to quote unquote mix it. And immediately the Discord was like,
immediately.
I can't hear it, but what I can hear hurts me.
Yeah. It's knives mostly.
Yeah.
Help.
And then meanwhile, Meagan has become apprenticed to dear sweet Diana Bowen.
Yes, our beautiful creative. She likes to be called creative wizard, but she really is like a creative mentor in so many ways. She used to make our videos for us. She used to give us a very, very generous friends and family discount to make our social videos when we were at KUOW. And much like everybody else involved in this show, she has a real job. So,
can you say what her real job is? Because it's fancy.
I think so. Her real job is that she does like campaign videos for like senators. She's shot Barack Obama. She worked on the Hillary campaign for a long time. So has this really cool job where she sometimes gets to like follow around senators and politicians and make videos for them. And she's awesome. As you can see from the videos that she made for us from like November to March or so. She lives in DC, right next to me, and literally she has been so open-hearted and so available for like any ridiculous questions I have, like such as, how do you do this? What's happening? And like just today I sent her a draft video and was like, I feel like this is missing something, and she solved it for me immediately. So she's just been really available and helpful to us, even though she's not formally working for us anymore. And we really couldn't make videos for you at all if it wasn't for Diana.
It really it takes a village to raise a podcast.
It does. Yeah. We've gotten other
And
help too. Chance Nichols, who's been helping us with our YouTube strategy. I don't ever go on YouTube. The only thing I know about YouTube is like what I have witnessed my nephews watching, and all they watch is stuff like literally they watch stuff like last time I was in Seattle, my nephew was watching this video where the guy was like, if I make it to 30 million followers, my dad said he'd finally meet me. So it's like stuff like that. So we were like, Chance, should we pretend our dads don't talk to us unless we get 30 million followers? And he was like, no. So thank you to Chance.
a real angel. So yeah, I'm just so happy. And also, of course, to our Patreon subscribers who frickin' flocked on day one. And I'm acting like since we ran one LinkedIn ad that now we are fully solvent, and no.
That's right, we're rich.
We're still
I already have an appointment with the Porsche dealer.
yeah. We're still basically in the same spot we were before, but we're slowly growing and getting more and more stable, and it's really looking like we're going to be able to do this long term with your support, and we're just so grateful to everyone.
We are really grateful. Thank you to everyone who's already subscribed. If you haven't, please consider doing so. We even have a $1 tier, Donkey Fight Club. It doesn't come with any goodies, but it's just a way for you to say that you want the show to keep existing. It really helps. And you know what we've never asked you all to do, but I would like to ask you today. You post about us on your little social media, tag us, and tell your friends, and leave reviews. I feel like we haven't reminded you to leave a review in a while. And by the way, the accolades have been drying up. How are we supposed to live in this accolade desert, people? Okay? Can you help us out? I'm parched. I'm freaking parched for accolades. So those are ways that help us grow the show. Yes, the Patreon is super important. It's also really helpful if you tell your friends about the show. If you post about the show on social media and tag us in it, I will literally share anything you tag, unless it's rude to me personally. If it's rude to Lindy, I will post it.
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I will not post rude stuff about Meagan because I'm a girl's girl. But
We've
also,
established.
even if you don't want to give us any money, a thing that helps so much is just hit that subscribe button, because that brings our numbers up, and then we can sell more ads.
Thank you.
And then we can make more podcasts.
More podcasts for the Brainastronis.
Thank you.
Love y'all.
Mwah.
I can't find the stop button. Bye.
Text me back.